Good morning, everyone. I'm Srinivas Katakam. I'm going to, yeah, please tell me. I'm Srinivas Katakam. I'm going to give an introduction about Graph Wizard. I'll be just touching the basics and give an overview here, and then we can explore further. So the agenda for today will be, I'll talk about what is Drop Wizard and what are the benefits it will bring, and what is the bundle that Drop Wizard provides us, and how do we build and run the Drop Wizard application, and what are the next steps that we can take, and what is the significance of YAM and how we use it in Drop Wizard. Yeah, yes, you're right, right. And I'll talk. Just wait, and I'll talk about JDBA that we use in Drop Wizard, and we'll have demo. We'll start the demo a little earlier in the presentation itself, and questions. So coming to what is Drop Wizard, it is a damn simple library for building production ready RESTful web services. So we all know that the RESTful has become the default way of for web and mobile now, and its importance is growing as technologies are converging towards APIs. And just like a quick introduction about RESTful services. So it's a representational state transfer, and it's an architectural style which is lightweight and scalable and easily deployable, and it doesn't really depend on any specific protocol, but it's most often it is the HTTP protocol is what we'll use for, and it is so it becomes like a de facto way of technologies now, and that's where the importance of Drop Wizard comes in for developing any applications based on Java. I have actually used Java as well as Groovy in both languages for developing it. Even Groovy we can use Groovy for Drop Wizard applications. Yes. And what are the benefits we can think of is, we want to speed up our time to market and reduce the maintenance burdens and have the lean deployment size. So these three are like uh, immediate benefits that we get through the Drop Wizard. And now coming to the bundle that we get, Drop Wizard ecosystem is very vast, and it brings up the Jetty, which is the web server, and also the servlet container that we use, which is part of the Eclipse Foundation from several years now. And it provides the Jersey, which is the JAX-RS reference implementation, and provides the Jackson, which is the JSON for Java that we use. And also it Drop Wizard, the team also developed a metrics library, which is from themselves itself, which provides a lot of utilities that we'll be seeing now. Not just this one, there are a lot more. So it provides Goa, which is from Google, which provides the best practices for coding and utilities, several utilities. So Drop Wizard uses that heavily, and it provides the logback. Logback, we are all familiar with Log4j from long time, I hope. So it's part of our life that we do coding, and logback is the new way of doing logging. I understand it's in some cases it's 10 times faster than Log4j, and it's many of the critical libraries have been rewritten, and it's a new way of using the logging, and it's part of the drop wizard bundle, and it's fast and reliable, and several other advantages the logback brings in for us. And it also includes a new library, JDBA, which I first time come across when I started using the drop wizard, which is we'll see a little bit more further about it. And another unique thing that I've seen in drop wizard was Liquibase, which is a source control system for databases. So drop wizard provides something called migrations, so through which you can control completely what type of tables you want to have, what you want to have a dump of database, you want to create like a update the schema. So all these things you can control using Liquibase, which is wrapped by drop wizard through migrations. It's called as migrations here. But did I touch everything that drop wizard ecosystem provides? No. What I could get in the screen is so much, but there is more that drop wizard ecosystem provides us. That's how it is helping us to build production ready applications as fast as we can. So now coming to building and running application, my screen, my presentation may not be visible from far away. So I'll read out like we'll start setting up, and then we'll create the. Can we increase Zoom or something? Is it possible? Don't know, right? I see. I see. I see. So you have to bear with the small fonts we have here. So, but I'll outline the steps, and we'll once we go through the demo, we can see the each of these steps. So we'll first start with a configuration class. So Drop Wizard provides a way to create configuration classes where the configuration helps us to to vary our content across environments that we would start put up, but we may have different environments like dev, seat, or production. So that's where the importance of configuration. Also, if we want to have some default values or like that, then we can use the configuration at Drop Wizard. But do I need to create a big configuration files? No, Drop Wizard actually comes with the YAML way of the configuration that we'll see a little later, and it actually provides many configurable parameters with default values. For example, logging or anything like we want to do. A lot of default values are already there, unless you want to override or want to create your own set of the parameters or objects is where you need to actually touch the config file. Otherwise, it has all the essential things already built in it. So this is where our first look comes in, where we want to add anything in configuration files. We'll look at it here, and we'll add it here. And then it has an application class. The application class is like any other Java class. It's public static void main. Uh, uh, hmm? Correct. It's an entry point for the application. So, and it provides the initialize and also the run methods. And initialize method is where we want to configure any bundles that it provides that we can want to adjust or change. And the run method is where the all we connect to the environment and Jersey using the run method in the application class, where we'll play with the resources. And once we have an application class, then as we know, RESTful services are all about the resources and how we represent them. So you need to identify what are the representation that you want to bring in for the resources that will be exposing, and then really create the actual resource class that Jersey will be using. And then as I told you, is a run method in the application classes where we register resource to the environment or Jersey, depending upon what it is. And then the beauty of GraphWizard is it has health checks, which is sort of a unique that I've seen in compared to other frameworks or libraries. So you can actually, it provides some health checks without writing anything, and you can add any health checks you want to add on the top of it. And if we forget that, it will shout at us that we'll see. Correct. It will show a warning that we can't really ignore. So, then it has another interesting concept that we call fat jars. So GraphWizard, everything gets bundled into a fat jar. And how we are able to do that is through Maven. Maven provides shade, and using shade, you can actually have all the required things. You can tell to in the POM file, so Maven, that I want all things to be done as a single jar, fat jar. So by using the shade plugin, we can create the fat jar, and that's how we run the GraphWizard applications. Then it also provides a way to version the jars through that we can specify in the Maven. And then finally we'll run the application. And then we have some further next steps that we can do to fine tune the application. By coming this far, which will be in just few minutes that we'll see now, it claims that it can support up to 50,000 of requests per second. That everything is coming up in few seconds. You can build in few minutes. You can build such an application, such a service. That's the power of it. And then next steps will be like you want to look add more things into YAML file, or it provides the Hibernate validator as part of the ecosystem. Then you can add the validations. Then you can add more the service resources and the representations of it. And then typically in the GraphWizard applications that I have worked in, we use the DAO pattern. So where we to interact with the database, we use the JDBI through the DAO. And health checks can be as simple to understand is like healthy, unhealthy. Like basically it returns as a healthy or unhealthy based on the health checks. By default, without writing anything, it provides one of the important things that we call as deadlocks. Like any threaded applications, that if there are any JVM deadlocks or anything, it it tells us even without writing anything, checks it. And some simple health checks can be if you want to make sure any validations you want to have in the files or like that that the user provides, those we can do that, but there is scope is unlimited what we can do. And as I told you, the first stop for us was the configuration files. And the configuration file, the way it's supposed is using the YAML format. And YAML is like not another markup language. Sorry, the font is not that visible. It's a like a human-friendly way of creating the configuration file uh, compared to the XML way of doing it. And we heard just heard that even in other cases like Docker, I think we are using YAML for training. Just came across today, so it's more popular. So I'll just give you a simple like, config file how it looks like. Like suppose I want to add like a server here, so like a object. Then I want to create the root path and then a date format that I want to use in my application. So I can specify it here. I can externalize into this config file, YAML file. And we'll look at a little bit about the JDBA. There is that comes as part of the Docker ecosystem. Then JDBA is like a simple convenience library of SQL, which is sits on the top of JDBC, and it provides two flavors. We call it as the one is called Fluent style, and other one we call as the SQL objects style. The Fluent style is the older one, which is familiar, very familiar way of working using JDBC, whereas the object style is the new one. So in the first case, the older one, the query instances are specialized for SQL queries, whereas the second one is much more simpler. It's a declarative way of doing it. Using the colon sign, you can declare what are the values you want to pass to the queries. So I'll stop for the presentation here and then we'll go to the demo mode now. Any questions so far?
Yeah. If anyone is really hungry, you can have the sequence. Maybe. Breakfast here, you can have it. For everyone else, we have share.
Very popular ways of doing it. There, we can even create like a SOAP style of web services, right? But in case of Dropwizard, it's mainly for the RESTful services only. Whereas if you use the Spring or Spring Boot, you have with different variations of web services you can create it. That way, Dropwizard is limited only for the RESTful services. And also another aspect that we want to look at it if when comparing with other frameworks like Spring or Spring Boot is Dropwizard has a disadvantage of not having the inversion of control abilities here. So where, yeah, right. Right. So maybe we can, use it together. Yeah. I want to go to the desktop. I can. How to see the desktop?
Spring Boot also is a concept.
I'm in my desktop. Thank you. Sure. Yes. Right. So coming to the demo part of it, one is the beauty of Java, as we know, is we can just click, run anything and build anything through the command line. But we have some nice IDEs like Eclipse or IntelliJ. So I'll be using the Eclipse here for this demo, which not necessarily is the only way to develop the Dropwizard application. But I'll show you the advantages that it will bring in for us as well. So I'm going to use the Neon 2 of Eclipse here. Okay, sorry. So first I want to tell how do we get started. I already have it, but I'll give a steps, how we can get started. First, we'll be using the Maven archetypes here, which will help us to get started fast. And in Eclipse, we can go to the Maven, and it has archetypes here, and you can add a remote. You can add a remote catalog here, so which I already have here, and you have to give the actual catalog file name and the description. But I'll show you what I have here, the way I did it here. So it's basically nothing but a repo one Maven org, so which will download all the archetypes for us here locally that I can use to develop my application. So once we have this step done, it's a one-time activity. So the remote catalog will be available to you. So after that, we'll go to the Eclipse marketplace, and I'll show something that I liked using it. There is a freeware available that is from a company called TaskTop. It's called Dropwizard Tools 1.1.1, and so what it provides is we need an easier way to work with the YAML editor. It does provide a YAML editor, and another one it provides is a launcher. So as the one of the problems we face when we run in the command line in the development environment is sometimes the port is in use or something like that comes, like we have to kill something to again start. Whereas this launcher, it helps us. It takes care of cleaning the previous ones, then starting over. So it helps in the development. So I'm using this from the marketplace here. These are not essential for you to use it, but it helps. Hmm.
Start that Dropwizard application. So this line said that the code is already. So they kill the code which was built earlier, not some other. I will run some other application.
I think it will only kill what we have it in the workspace. For a specific port like 8080, basically what we are doing is we are launching the server, right? It just kills and ensures that it's not there in the memory. Right. So every time you can, once you want to restart the server, you can just click it, and it takes care of cleaning it for us. Correct. So after having these two with you, and then we'll go ahead and create a new application. And you have to select a Maven project. Dropwizard recommends Maven, but actually I have used Gradle for my work. But when we go to the Dropwizard website, it recommends Maven. Here I am giving a demo with the Maven here today. But I have used Gradle. It works as well. So previously I have shown you about the remote archetype that we have, the downloaded catalog. and the one we need to use, there are several of them available, and I like this one. It's called Java Simple. So once you type the Java Simple here, it comes up from the catalog that we can pick. We can see IO, Drop Wizard, Archetypes, Java Simple, and there are several others are also there that we can use. Then we need to give the group ID for the for a standard Maven project, as we know the group ID, and I've given something, and so I give some name, and also we need to give name, artifact ID and name required for Maven. No, I may have to delete this. I'll just start over again. So it's creating the new project for us. So this archetype provides us with the standard skeleton that we can use, and the way we work in Drop Wizard is as we have seen, we have an configuration class, and we have first we talked about configuration class as the first step here, and you can see it subclasses from the application, has subclasses from a Drop Wizard configuration file, and it has nothing. And then it also has the application class itself, and it borrows the name from our Maven name that we have given, and it also has the public static void main method and initialize and run methods here. So that will be filling in now. So these are the areas we'll be starting over. And if you are writing the representations, it has to go to the API folder here. And if we are writing health checks, it will go here. And if you are writing resources, there is a specific package given for resources as well. So now let's create like a barebone test case here. So I want to have a simple text displayed through the Drop Wizard, and we'll be creating something called hello here. So what we need to do is like create a new resource class. A simple resource class will have to start with a path, and where we want to expose our resource, and it will also have what it produces, and before that, there are different methods for the RESTful service, as we know, get, post, delete, that we need to have, and what it produces. In this case, I went for a simple one, the text plain, but typically we'll use the JSON here, and I would like to return like something like hello world here. So that's my objective here in this resource class. So after having the resource study, then next step is to register it. So we need to register with the Jersey. So Jersey knows about it. So then we need to go to the application class and register it here. So I registered it now in my application class, have the resource created and registered it. So now I'll be using the launcher that we have got it through the marketplace to run the application. So as you can see, probably from far you cannot see, like it is shouting at me that I don't have any health checks here because I haven't created any health check here. So it's telling me to create the health checks. So, and now we are up and running. So now let us see what we want to display. So we got our hello world. So hardly I have written a couple of lines of code, and I created a resource and just registered with the Jersey, and I am up and running for my resource. I can display my resource. But does this only thing that we get from DoffWizard? No. There are a lot of other things that it provided us without even writing anything that we'll look at it. So as I told you, we you can see all the metrics here. That it provides out of box. Then you can monitor the threads. We can monitor all the threads here right away. Then I didn't write any health check, but it has built-in health checks. So as like he was asking about, the what we can do with the health checks, right? It provides the deadlock health checks by default. Yes, as a fat jar. Yeah, and even though we had the luxury of Eclipse here tool, but in case you want to run it through the command line, this is the way to run it. You have to create a jar, and then you have to say server, and then usually typically we'll have the config dot file as well here to pick up the which our Eclipse is doing automatically for us here. It's picking. Yes. Correct. Correct. It's ideally suited for creating the microservices architecture. So that's all I wanted to present. Any questions? Yes, sure.
The thing I could,
Hmm.
I get that others can also share their opinion. What is the really big advantage that we have in building this? One advantage I see is like the packaging of everything into one place. Have to worry about it. But RESTful implementation has it can help as a developer as such implementation getting. Oh, sorry. No, I was trying to understand what is the advantage other than from a RESTful implementation point of view.
Yeah, if you bring this as a microservice, let us say a jar, and you can easily integrate with the Docker and run this service with Docker and create a
Browser or built in.
Yes, yes, you are correct. Underlying, for example, if you go to the application class, this is nothing but it's using the Jersey here. It is the environment is given to us. So part.
Constant, right? That make is already point dependencies. Yeah. This was
Yeah. POM.
it has this drop wizard core that must have dependencies on the all the other things. Yeah.
the Jersey library. I think it comes along with the Docker.
Yeah. If you want to configure some stuff with Jersey serving, I want to add this like Jersey serving. Can we are not one of the department department manager kind of can have it
I have not explored, but I think it can be extended to, because once you have the handle of the Jersey, then whatever the Jersey provides, those features can be utilized. I will think so.
we just did a Google search why drop wizard and OpenShift clause actually 3 points. The first one is quick project. So you have articles. The second most important is application matrix. So there is a accurate time application, and you can actually measure the time spent in actually executing the data. So that probably is available out of the box. The third one is productivity. So you don't have to package it for
right, as Rohit said, I haven't shown it. We can see it. It has something called a timer. So through which we can collect important metrics like events, over time or over specific intervals like 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. That you can plug in into any specific method you want to monitor.
Debate one is question. Can we have a different implementation of JAX RS or based on plugged into subject, or do we have to use just the JAX which are the
I think it's coming through the core. So not sure unless we
maybe at
change the core.
core level somebody contributes.
Right, because it's a very recent one. Over I think last 1-2 years only developed. That's all I have.
Thank you so much.